The vault was always the point. What Prince's Timeless tells us about ownership. Prince's greatest hit might not have been a song, it might have been a vault. 10 years after his death, Prince is still generating wealth from music the world has never heard. And that's because Prince understood something most artists never do. You only preserve what you own. The industry thought he was having a breakdown. He wasn't. He was having a negotiation. In 1993, Prince changed his name to an unpronounceable symbol. He wrote slave on his face. He began releasing music for free. None of it was a publicity stunt. All of it was leverage. Prince had signed with Warner Brothers at 19 years old. The deal gave him creative freedom. It cost him ownership. For most artists, that trade feels invisible until it isn't. By the time Prince understood what he'd signed away, he was one of the most valuable artists alive, and he owned almost none of it. Paisley Park sits on 65,000 square feet in Chanhassen, Minnesota. It was Prince's recording studio, his creative compound, his home, and somewhere inside it, a climate-controlled vault. Estimates suggest the vault contains between 50 and 100 completed albums, possibly more. Records spanning 4 decades, genre-spanning work that has never been commercially released. This wasn't hoarding, this was inventory management. Prince understood that scarcity creates value. That unreleased work is a negotiating tool, a generational asset, a form of institutional power. Most artists think about their catalog as a record of what they've done. Prince thought about his catalog as infrastructure for what comes next. That distinction between a record and an asset, between a legacy and an institution, that distinction is worth billions. In 2026, Sony Music released Timeless, a collection of previously unreleased Prince recordings curated by his estate. 10 years after Prince's death, his catalog is still expanding, still generating revenue, still reaching new audiences. Sony brings global distribution, streaming infrastructure, marketing scale, but here's the thing Prince understood that most artists still don't. Sony needs a partner, not a product. That difference is ownership. The Prince estate chose the terms, the Prince estate controls the release schedule, the Prince estate decides what the world hears and when. This is what a cultural asset trust looks like in practice, not a theory. A functioning wealth generation structure built on creative ownership, designed to outlast its creator. Prince didn't just leave music behind, he left the model. Principle 1, create more than you release. The vault wasn't a storage problem, it was a strategic surplus. Releasing everything immediately turns an asset into a transaction. Owning the unreleased preserves negotiating power indefinitely. Principle 2, structure the ownership before you need it. Prince fought Warner Brothers for years because the ownership structure was wrong from the beginning. A cultural asset trust establishes ownership before the first deal is signed, not after. Principle 3, choose distribution partners, not owners. Sony distributes Timeless, Sony does not own Timeless. That sentence represents decades of Prince's legal warfare. And it's the sentence every Black creator should be able to say about their work. Black culture has generated trillions in economic value for industries that didn't own the source. That bears repeating. Black culture has generated trillions in economic value for industries that didn't own the source. The question Black Wall Street Odds keeps asking is simple. What changes when we own the source? The vault wasn't excess. It wasn't eccentricity. It wasn't the behavior of a difficult artist who didn't understand the business. The vault was a generational asset, structured, protected, designed to generate wealth long after Prince left the building. It was always the point.